Good evening. It is a snowy October evening here in Winnipeg, Manitoba. My name is Jamie Bueller, and I'm the president of Oak and Apple. And so glad that you're taking the time to watch this simple webinar this evening. The simple video we're going to put together. We're putting this video together to assist our tenants in understanding exactly how the tenant portal works. We talk about the tenant portal all the time. We talk about the advantages of it. We talk about how you can put a request online for the portal. We even talk to tenants about how you can even pay your rent online. But we haven't taken the time to put together a video to really show everyone sort of how this works and how you can use the tools that are available to you. So I've decided to create a simple video this evening. We're going to put this on YouTube and we're going to share this with you. Not just all of our existing tenants, but if you're a new tenant, I'm glad you're watching this as well. We want to make sure all of our new tenants can see this video and connect with this content so they understand how our tenant portal works. So thanks for joining us this evening. As you can tell, I don't have a script I'm going off of. I'm just going to kind of hunt and peck as I go and find the different places that I want you to be able to find. And the first thing we're going to do to get there, is we're going to figure out how to actually find the tenant portal. And we couldn't make this any easier for you. We've created a special website for this, and it's called tenantportal.ca. So if that was difficult and you're wondering how am I going to remember what website, that's it. It's tenantportal.ca. So I'm just going to share my screen a few times throughout our session today, just so you can see what this looks like. And first of all, I'm going to share this window with you right now. So this is the tenantportal.ca, and you can tell right at the very top what happens is it defaults to our internal site, but we've made this easy for you. I'm just going to type it out here for you. So if you go to www.thetenant, it's already pre-filling, portal.ca. What you'll find is it'll go right back to the site and redirect to our internal website there. So this right here is the tenantportal.ca, and I'm already logged in on a different screen, so it has my stuff pre-fills in there. But this is what you'll see the first time you go to this website. You do have a link. You can sign up right here on the website using the email address that you provided to us when we first set up your tenancy. That's very important. But the easiest way to get here is through the link that we're going to provide you in your email. So make sure you click on that, click through the links there, and that will get you to this website, the tenantportal.ca. To make this easier, Oak and Apple has actually rented one of the suites in one of our buildings to use as a demo this evening. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to that webpage and I'm going to show you what you would see once you logged in on this screen. So if you log in on this screen, this is what you're going to see. You're going to see the tenant portal. Up at the very top here is where your name is going to be. So right here it says hello Oak, and because I don't have the full name there, it just shows up just like that here on the tenant portal. Let me walk through some of the main pieces of your portal just so you know what this looks like and where you're looking. I'm going to go to our make a payment section at the very end. We'll deal with that last, but let's start with some other sections here first. So you click home. Home takes you to this home page right here that we're at. Underneath this section of rent and what's outstanding, you see open requests. Well, right now there's an open request in progress. The sink is not draining. So if you wanted to view all open requests, you could certainly do that. It defaults to showing you all the open requests. Requests are what we refer to as maintenance items at Oak and Apple, but not just maintenance items. Maybe you're interested in getting a parking space. Maybe you'd like to add a pet to your lease. Maybe you're looking at doing something else, making some other change to your lease, to your tenancy, and this is the place to make those requests. It defaults to showing all the open requests, but if I'm curious about a request that I created, in the past, and I'm wondering how that ended up, or maybe something was repaired in my suite and now it's not working again, I can open closed requests. By toggling on closed, I can see all of the requests that have been created on my behalf or that I have created, and I can see all the closed ones. So I'm going to go back to open. So let's pretend for a moment that there's a new request that I wanted to create. This website obviously doesn't make it very difficult, and I probably don't even have to ask you where to click. It's the great big green button that says create request right over here. So I'm just going to click on that. It's going to ask me a few questions right away. It's going to say, is this a maintenance request or is this a general inquiry? Questions about your account, parking policy, etc., or maintenance. Well, let's assume this is a maintenance request. And of course, if it's an emergency, call 911, obviously. But if it's a property emergency, please call this number, and we have various prompts through that phone number to connect you with our emergency maintenance dispatch team. But let's just pretend pretend for today's example that we have a regular maintenance request. I'm going to click maintenance request. Scrolling down a little, I have some options here. It's looking very much like an email, if that's what you're familiar with. I get to pick the category of request. Let's say there's something wrong with my door lock. Let's say that's getting sticky and my key is not quite working anymore. If that's the case, I'm going to treat just like an email. Key is sticking in lock. Real simple subject that whoever reads this is going to know exactly what I'm having questions about. Hello, I would say. My deadbolt on my door is sticking when I put my key, something along those lines. And so this is the description you're going to add to your request, so they have a little more idea as to what you're looking for. You can click attachments from you can click here and actually add attachments or drag and drop them from your computer if you like. And then we get down to the next section. An attachment would be appropriate if for example, there is a repair needing to be done and the picture might be helpful to give some context as to what you're looking for. But we're just going to leave that for today. Scheduling. Do we have permission to enter the property if you aren't home? Well, this is a sticking lock, so chances are it's not applicable. They can deal with it, but I'm just going to say yes because I'm at home. I'm away working outside of the house most of the time. Moving on to the next question. Do you have any pets? Of course, if there's dogs or cats, the person entering my suite, once I've given them permission, is going to want to know that. Either not let them outside or to make sure that they stay safe. So we're just going to make this easy and say no. Any other entry notes? Is there anything else about coming into the suite that the tradesperson might want to know since I'm not going to be home? So let's make this interesting. Let's make it fun. You can do my dishes while I'm gone if you want. There's something interesting. So what we're going to do now is we're going to submit this request. Submit. And there you go. Under my request tab or request section of the website, I now have a new request. And it says new right there. In progress means someone's working on it. But this says new. I have a new request created as of today's date. And it comes with a request number specific to this request as well. Easy. My property manager or the maintenance team at Oak and Apple will be seeing this the next time that they open their screens. If it's during the day, they'll see it right away. And if not, they'll see it first thing in the morning when they go to the office. And again, I just want to clarify, this is not for emergencies. There's other numbers for emergencies. This is just for lingering maintenance issues that you know need to be addressed. But this is the status of requests, and it's fairly simple. Let's go back to the home page. And you can see on the home page, there's a card with my new request there that I've just created. Announcements are ways that we can speak to tenants all together as a group. Maybe you live in a multifamily complex. We have a message that we want to send to all of our tenants. Well, we're going to send you an announcement. Clicking view all allows you to see all of the announcements that have just been sent out in the last little while. It gives you the date they were sent, and you could even read the announcements as you wish as well to get clarity on them. Once you read them, they're no longer considered new. They come up on your screen just like this. And at this point, they're no longer considered new. That's going to fall off and that new tag is not there. I've read that announcement, so now I'm aware of it. And let's go back to the home page. We've talked about open and close requests and new announcement. When you scroll down, you just see some basic details about your lease. My address is there, start of my lease, the anticipated end date of my lease. Do I have any prepayments? Have I prepaid my rent at all? What is my security deposit? And how much is my rent? So this is the basic outlay of your main tab on the tenant portal after you log in. Before we get to paying rent, let's scroll down one little more piece called documents. Documents are any document you're looking for pertinent to your lease. So for example, I'm going to click the leases tab. Well, and there's a copy of my lease right there in the leases tab. I go back to documents, let's get back on my documents lease list, and there's property inspections. There's the inspection when I first moved in. Go back to documents, tenant resources. There's an old tenant handbook we used to use, sublet form if I want to sublet my unit, and move out cleaning instructions. And contacts are pertinent contacts for Oak and Apple. I need to contact Manitoba Hydro. There's a way of doing that. Winnipeg Water and Waste to set up a water account. There it is. Also, I can purchase renter's insurance. If you do not have renter's insurance, you can purchase a policy here. We're not going to go through all of the information covered here, but this is for you to explore later. I want to focus on one more thing as part of your tenant portal, and that's the obvious, paying your rent. Let's go back to the home page and let's click on here. So you see, I currently have an outstanding balance. My rent is late. It needs to be taken care of. What we're going to do now, is we're going to pay our rent through the tenant portal. Let's look at view all. So view all shows all of my history of payments. And now we're going to make a payment. So let's select make a payment. We could have done that, of course, from the other screen, but we're doing it here. So when you make a payment via the tenant portal, your main making what's called an electronic check. An electronic check works the exact same way as a real world check. You set up the information, you hand the check over, and then you wait 2 or 3 days for that money to call what's called clear your bank account. The person who receives the check has to deposit it, and from there it's 2 or 3 days before it exits your bank account and winds up in your payor's bank account. So what we're going to do here is we're going to enter the bank account information starting with the checking account. Now, obviously, by paying via EFT, there's no fee. We don't charge for that. For most people, they're going to select their checking account. Next, you want to put the first and last name of the person on the checking account. That would be the name that is on the account, not if you have a given name that you use with OpenApple. It's not that name. It's the name on the bank account. Next, you're going to put your transit and your institution number and your account number twice. Where do you get those numbers? Well, these little question marks will tell you exactly where to get those numbers from. If you hover over it without clicking, you'll see that on a check, that's where that number is. It's included in the box there, that 5-digit number. Your institution number is included in the other box if you're looking at a check, if you don't know where these numbers are. And if you want to know where your account number is, it's that last number there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to enter bank account details so that we can move on to the next page. So let's see if they'll accept some false details here. Hopefully this works. If not, I'll edit the video later. Let's say I'm making my payment today, and I'll click next. Let's do the person on the call. So the very next page takes you to the amount to be paid page. Payment date is November 7th. As you can see, let's go back one page. I can change that to another date. Obviously in the future, I can't go back and make a payment in the past, but any date in the past or in the future, I can make this payment. I can choose to save my bank account for next time, or I can unsave my bank account for next time. And that's making a payment today. I can choose a different amount. Maybe I'm paying this in the middle of the month and I'm paying half my rent for the next month. I can put a different amount in here. I can put any amount I want to include here, but we're just going to pay the full balance today. We've got our false details in there, and we're going to click next. Want me to confirm one more time, and then next. Here you can review checking account ending there, November 7th, paid by me. This would be your name, and then you can click submit payment. Thank you. All set. We've emailed you a receipt. You can also print this as a receipt as well, or you can return to the payments page. There, the payment has been made. Go to my home page, and now I owe nothing. I've paid my rent. So this is a quick tutorial of how your portal works. I hope that you found this helpful, and I hope that the information within this webinar or within this video, you're going to find useful in navigating your tenant portal. Again, if you have any questions, I would encourage you to email info@oakenapple.ca. We'd be more than willing to help you with anything contained, not just within this video, but anything for your tenancy whatsoever. Thanks for joining me this evening, and I trust that you have a fantastic evening. And thank you again for being a tenant of OakenApple.